the background. It has memory. And according to your memory, it is influencing the way that you perceive things, according to your memory. A small example, death. If somebody has experienced a tremendous amount of pressure, death, etc., lost a whole lot of people, they are not going to be, every time something happens, going into a collapse. They are not. Because they are going to be trained to look at it. And if they have read enough about the continuation of life and gone into quantum physics, etc., yes, there is a certain amount of collapse within the personality, but the I remains clear, knowing that there is a continuation. The I is the aspect that connects with religiousness, religiosity, spirituality. Unfortunately, religion has become too dogmatic, and it is the reason why there are people dying all over, and it's still going on. But I don't know what the actual solution about the world really is. Does anybody in this room know why we are in a process of disintegration? No. All we can do is to ride the wave. If you don't have the memory within, you cannot see something. Therefore, it is impossible for you to see the quantum world. But you need to research, become familiar with it, or make that quantum leap and understand. There is something there, I don't know what it is, next. What can I do with it? And how am I going to bring it in order to make the quantum leap? Consciousness is the ground. We are talking about changing consciousness. Objects are possibilities, therefore, my reality is not that there is a crisis in Greece. My reality is that I know there is a worldwide crisis, and I am going to become a cell of light and join up with other cells of light. Here we have to say a big thank you to Stefania Hetzi and to her team for organizing Inspire Your Life for this weekend, and especially bringing it into business, entrepreneurship. Energy is always a constant. We cannot take away energy, we cannot build any extra energy. So at the moment that we know that energy is a constant, we need to think about how heavy are we. I'm not going to use the word negative. Heavy. How heavy are you? How light can you become? Because this is the challenge. It is not a light of, I do all sorts of things, or I take out I don't know how many credit cards and spend money that isn't there because I know that I belong in a consciousness and the light. It's not that at all. It is understanding that I have the potential, possibilities are there, and I invite this quantum field to come into my everyday life and to bring it into practical things which we're going to go into. This means that there is greater meaning to life than perhaps what we think about. All life is entangled. These are basic aspects that we need to know. What we do affects the universe and others. There is no way that what we do does not affect others. We have different theories. The butterfly on one side of the world creates the earthquake in another. But if you think about non-locality, there is your understanding as to how we are influencing through non-locality. There is an influence. We are influencing. There are 2 chairs here if you'd like to come down. We are influencing the world. We influence the people around us. Gosh, we already know that when I walk into a room and I am heavy, I carry heavy energy, the likelihood of people in the room feeling heavy is very much there. It is there. As long as you understand that you are affecting the universe and you are in non-locality, there's a possibility that you will get on a bus one day and suddenly think of something that is totally not yours to think about. You don't usually think about this. It might not be exactly your thought, but you might have got it from the cesspool. Because what we are talking about is that you pick up. Cesspool is a kind of the collective unconscious. It's that field of potentiality and possibilities. If we understand this, we will change our way of thinking and our way of perceiving ourselves. Because you have the archetype, especially rich in Greece, of the ancient Greek gods and goddesses. Think of them as an archetype. There is so much brilliance in mythology. But we need to step away only from the story of the myths. There is so much underneath that allows you to understand that these are attributes, possibilities. We need to act now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, it's now. It's going into the mindset of understanding change. 2016 is a very important year. I do not know why, I just know that it is. Sometimes, we don't always need to know why. Sometimes we can accept and experiment. Because this is another reason that I think it's important to draw from different traditions. Because we draw different aspects, different ideas, and then we use them to create a different way of looking at life. Changing perceptions. A changing perception is my logo. We're talking about nourishing the essence. The essence is something that you need to come into contact with each and every day. It means going, as we started off today, and for those that came later, it means you wake up in the morning, take some time, if you can, to sit for 5-10 minutes and just collect your thoughts, put them into a basket, try to have a still mind, go into the silence, and begin your day. If you do not have time to do that in the morning, on the balcony, in the garden, do it on the bus. When you're driving, be present in your driving. We'll come to that just now. Wake up, be present. When you walk in the street, make the change. Make eye contact with people that are in the street. Smile. It doesn't cost anything. But it can make another person feel good. It could bring a complete change to another person's feelings when you do that. And those are only two simple things. Have a clearer understanding of your work and its deeper significance. The first question that you need to ask yourself, are you doing the kind of work that you want to do? And if you are not, then you must make a change. And you mustn't be afraid of making a change. Because you need to understand that you will be supported when you make the change, when you change your ideas. Greater reflection on your career. What is your career? Ask yourself the question, what am I doing? What do I intend to do with the work that I'm doing? Where do I want to go one day? Become a lifelong learner. I'm doing my PhD, I'm 57. I have a friend in England who is 70 and just did his PhD. But I cannot imagine, let me rephrase that. I can imagine when I have graduated in December of this year to set my books aside in terms of having to work with it. I will carry on researching and I will read for pleasure and have some of a personal life. obviously, because with studying all the time, one has to sacrifice. But research, find out more about the possibilities and the potentialities that are within a quantum field. Find out more about your work. Don't just go to work and get into that, I go to work and this is what I have to do and this is the box thinking. Step out of the box. Don't be afraid to speak out and ask or check if there are business managers in here. I would like to ask them to look at the space that you are doing your work in. Do you have a window in your office? Because if you don't, the likelihood of you being down and you're not even realizing it is very high. Green plants. A good environment is very important. How you get on with your colleagues. Set your paths and your goals. You cannot get on with everybody. It's an impossibility. And if you are getting on with everybody, usually it's because you wear a mask when you go to work. I don't know if anybody in sales is here. I'm always fascinated with the fact that somebody who has been trained in sales speaks very quickly, bombards you, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all because I feel that it pushes me in a corner. There are different ways. You've got to look for different ways that you can actually get somebody. Personally, if you're talking to me all the time and you're telling me how wonderful this is, I now, when people from Cosmote or Vodafone call, I will turn around and say, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'm really busy. I'm happy with OTE that I have. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Now I have to leave you because I have an appointment. Bye, and I had to put the phone down. Because they carry on, and they use the most incredible techniques. And business tools of multitasking. I'm excellent. I can answer the phone. I'm doing this. You want me to get something? Yes. The perfect secretary is multitasking. And I'm going to ask you to please use your common sense. If I multitask and do a million things at once, or 10 things at once, how effective am I in each thing that I am doing? Obviously, I'm not going to be. It's interesting. There is on YouTube something that you can watch about Google. Google talking about now Google is a very big company. I mean, that's why I'm bringing in Google. They do not promote when you go to an interview the idea that you can multitask, because multitask brings major problems as well. Of course, we can always turn around when there is a mistake that can cost a company a lot, turning around and saying, oh my goodness me, unfortunately I was, and I didn't notice it. The problem with that is that I, as a person, will know that I have not used all my potential. Focusing is something that you have to learn. It is not something that you're going to be able to do if you leave here. My suggestion that you sit in the morning at the office, stop what you are doing, please, and eat your food. I don't believe that there is any company who will tell you, and if they do, then please join and get all the employees to speak to whoever is in charge. You need the time to stop doing what you are doing and eat your food. Now, I tell you this because I do it myself. I get my lunch and I sit there and I am working on the computer. That's how I know that it is there. But when I stop, I give my mind. My mind is moving in a million directions. It's working and the brain is working overtime. Think about your computer when it overheats, very simply. You also have to switch off at some point in time, and it is not enough to switch off when you sleep. Because dreams are the way that there is a process that is going on. And dreams are a way that the body goes through the process. Some of your dreams can be so revealing as to the process of what you're going through. They tell you about yourself. It is very good to record your dreams. I'm not suggesting that you go and see a professional. Of course we all need, and I'm of the opinion that everybody needs to do psychotherapy, because everybody is carrying weight from the past. But Start with little things. Record your dreams. Look at them. Pay attention to them. Don't sweep things under the carpet. You don't have a cupboard at home where you throw all your garbage in and then shut the door. Even if you do, you know what's going to happen. It's going to fester. And when you are in a group, that's the problem. You can do it because you're in charge of your own self, and some people are hooked on destructiveness. What's going to happen is that if you are putting all your stuff and taking no notice of it, sweeping it underneath the table, not speaking out, obviously in a polite way, being afraid that you're going to lose your job. If you are living at that level, you are not going to do anything. You have to step up, you have to go beyond, and you have to do what it is that is going to bring you into a different vibration, unafraid, so that if there is a physical disaster around you, any kind of disaster, you need to be the cell that we spoke about before. You need to be the cell that will be there to assist other people. You cannot assist other people if you are losing it yourself. This is another aspect of your career. I mean, a lot of us go out, we volunteer, we feel that we should do things for the world in general. But think about actually consciously how you can, by creating a difference within yourself, you are directly there, if there is a disaster, that you will be the person to step out and calm everybody down. That means you need to face all the fears that you have inside of you. And I can tell you that it is a beautiful journey, because you will have a very much higher sense of integrity as a human being. It's a journey well worth taking. Take personal responsibility. I know, I've heard it so many times. The government is to blame for the situation in Greece. But I feel that I am to blame as well, because I know that the government did not make it easier for me when I was teaching in a full-time position and tutoring in the afternoons. I was not able to give a receipt. I had asked, could I have Teve at that time, at the same time as Ika? No, I could not. So it didn't help me. And I know how many times I've gone to the marketplace and I never asked for a receipt. And I went to the doctor the other day and he said, well, this is not covered by your insurance. Let me think. Okay, you can have a receipt and I'm not going, you can have a discount and I'm not giving you a receipt. And I cannot spend all my time in conflict and fighting with this. What I try to do is to do what is necessary within my space. I recycle. This is helping the planet. I try to keep a higher consciousness. These are little steps that you can take. And greater self-reflection and engagement, because we always need to stop and think. So you're basically digging and looking for your essential self. Inside your essential self are all the unique, incredibly unique possibilities and potentialities that each and every one of you have, that is not shared with anybody else. Think about the fingerprint. The fingerprint to me is incredible. Each and every one of us have a different fingerprint. That means that each and every one of us have a completely unique inner matrix. All that potential is recreating, because we're using words here. It is recreating a different universe. It is recreating situations where we build resilience. Resilience is your ability to be in a situation, to take what is happening on the outside and not be influenced by it. Respect, self-respect, respect for your job, respect for your co-workers. Research more on the what can you do, what are the abilities, what do you need to find out. Is it to learn more about your job so that you can become more effective? taking a quantum leap in entrepreneurship is becoming more effective. Becoming more effective, it's also paying attention to the time frame that you are in, giving yourself time to do things, recognizing who you are, recognizing what is happening around you, reflecting, taking time to reflect each and every day. What have you achieved? Keep a journal. When you start a process like this, write down what you're doing. It's like a research project. And renew. Think about these words and what they mean, how they resonate with you at an essential level. Because this is exactly what is happening. Try to understand that when we go into a quantum field, each and every word, go back to the Bible, go back to the beginning, the word is not just the word that I'm using to describe something. Because in language we very often lose the essential aspect behind it. And if we look at the word, it's the logos. And logos is divine reasoning. So we go back to Plato's ideas. There has to be some higher, greater point where everything is in terms of potential that gives us the possibility to become different and to change. Now we talk about transpersonal entrepreneurship because I go beyond my personality. I understand the dynamics that are happening within the group. I understand the dynamics in terms of work, my relationships with others, how I am responsible for how I enter into my space, and how I work so that the consciousness is what creates my presence. There's a lot of potentiality in what I'm telling you. One of the many things that I do, because I do many things, is to teach drama from second grade up through till end of school. We have 2 performances that I'm putting on this year. One is Romeo and Juliet, one is Wizard of Oz. This is what I tell the children. You have the potential. Stand there, feel it, because we are all playing a role. Wise words. The role. When we can play different roles, we bring an essence and you create a presence. And you stand in that presence. And that presence is what you give out and you share with everyone else. So the idea is to work with yourself, invite fear into the living room and look at your fears. What are your fears? Put them down. Try to work with them. Fear is a good thing in general because sometimes it activates your gut. And if, for example, your gut is activated, you would pick up things that maybe somebody else would not in a normal circumstance. I remember one evening waking up when I was deep in sleep, waking up and going to the bathroom. But instead of going to the bathroom, I walked into the living room to see that there was a candle with, you know, some of these dry flowers that actually was burning. This is the kind of situation that if you are in tune with your environment, you're in tune with what is happening, this activates something inside of you. Readdress your values and ethics. Revisit them. What is important? Dare to be different. And feel good about being different. And aspire to do your best. Step out of the box. Wakefully seize. When I say wakefully, it means being fully connected to consciousness. Wakefully seize opportunities to do good. Be more positive and helpful. Try to refrain from egocentric behaviors. I know it all. Maybe you do, but you don't need to tell us if you do. How do you perceive your place in this world? Because your place in this world, they say that the most wise person sits in the corner of the room and usually has much less to say. Of course, one has to be careful that you don't forget yourself in the corner of the room hiding behind a tree. Obviously, you need to come out, step out into the light, awaken to a new tomorrow. Are you happy in what you're doing? Again, I'm asking. Really think about it. And if not, then find the courses that you need to do. There are always ways that you can move out, because it's very important. You're spending a large time of your everyday life at work. If you're not happy, you're not going to be happy in your personal life. And I consider that personal and professional life are intertwined. No matter how we think that they might not be, they have to be intertwined. Because your person is what you take to work every single day. You don't leave your person at home and don a mask and come into the work sector, because if you're doing that, you're not being real. And the idea is that we're going to make a quantum leap. We're going to try and move into a better future. We want to change things. We don't want to stay in the same routine and rut. So how can you manifest change? I'm planting seeds this morning. You have to now water the seeds. You have to nurture them. You have to open up to consciousness. Because consciousness, if we think of consciousness as being the ground of all being, there are millions of other seeds. It's not only your seeds, but there are millions of other seeds. This is the work of Carl Jung, and I think that it is very powerful. But unfortunately, because Newtonian science was our past, it's a good background. I don't say that we didn't have to have Newtonian science. Yes, that was the way that the process went. Newtonian science, where everything had to be put into a box, labeled well enough, and then began to move and shift. If we think about the fact that there are so many universes out there, we are not the only universe here. This is in a continual motion. The here and now, check to see, is your mind full continuously of ideas? What am I going to do? What's happening here? What did I do yesterday? This mind chatter. Chattering monkey all the time. Please take note. Take the time to focus on something that you're doing. For example, washing the dishes, driving the car, not wondering if I'm driving, so I know that there are cars, and it's something that I cannot explain to you. When you start practicing it, it will take precedence. It will guide you. It's something that happens naturally. Be mindful, fully present. I can work on my PhD dissertation in the middle of a very noisy coffee shop. And I don't hear what's going on outside. Nothing takes my attention because I'm fully, but this is after years of practice. So that's why I'm saying it does work. Move beyond crisis by broadening your perception, by using your intuition, by asking yourself, how does this feel? Using your intuition and asking, how does this feel? I'm going to stop for a moment and I'm going to ask you to stand up. And you will see that there is a person next to you. So I'd like you to turn. One person turns. And I'm going to demonstrate here. I want you to start off at the top here, and I just want you to focus on just tapping the lady in front of you. But really be connected with what you're going to do. You're going to tap the person in front of you, and then you're going to exchange. And I want you to feel, just be aware of what's going on. What's a stupid exercise? Oh my goodness me, what am I going to do this afternoon? Take note, don't judge it. Don't say, oh, why? just take note, how does it feel and how do you feel when you do this? It's good that the person who does the tapping kind of like keeps your eyes, or you have your eyes closed. You can keep your eyes open or closed, it's up to you. And then you will exchange. Let's see how the numbers go. Okay, there. Would you like to do with yes? And
I think so, yeah.
and I will come. Yes, okay. So let me turn. So you're tapping from the top and down all the way. You go all the way down. Tap, 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 tap. The person just breathe. Check to see how you feel. When you feel that you have finished something. Just be conscious of how it feels. Down the hands. Try to do as much as possible. Tapping. And then take your seat again. And just for a moment,
Shouldn't we tap the other person?
so how do you feel?
We have to tap the other person.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm
It was exchanging. So how do you feel? How was that for you? Observations? You feel better? It was getting very hot in here as well. And sitting and focusing and being in a situation like that is, but it's something that you can do yourself. You can just do it yourself. It's a part of Qigong. And it brings the energy flow, and we shift in the way that we feel. If you start doing it with yourself, and if you can do it outside as well, focused on something in nature, take time to investigate how you feel, because your hands are you can use them on and do healing. You know, a mother's touch, we always say a touch of a mother on a child can actually make that child feel better. A hug is a way of expressing how you feel. These are important things to do. We need to take notice of that. Scan your body. When I say scan your body, close your eyes and start scanning. Now, when you start the scanning process, you're going to see things. Usually, different images come to mind. We see different attachments that move out of us. If you do see attachments, just cut them off. Just check to see. We're attached to so many different things in life. We're attached to people. We're attached to situations. And it's as if when I'm attached to somebody, I give that person my power. So there are situations that have, my power has to be all with me. And become the observer. Watch situations and also observe yourself. What are you doing? What are you saying? How are you dealing with situations? If you are forcing situations to occur, you are not in the quantum field. Things happen naturally. And you invite this beautiful potentiality to come to you. There you will see what Carl Jung calls divine synchronicity. You go down the street, you meet the right person at the right time, because that is what you have to do. You will find yourself in the right position that somebody asks you about work. Everything becomes entangled, it's interconnected. It's not by chance. The workplace, are you actively listening to what the other person is telling you, or are you just talking and telling the other person what they have to do? Listen to what they are saying, pay attention, ask questions. Really? What exactly do you mean by that? Okay, can I ask you, what I heard you say is, da 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 da. Is this the message that you're giving me? Especially in a work situation. Decide your values. What is the corporate social responsibility? What is your responsibility in the corporate world? Is it that you just want to make more money? If you're going to make more money, fine, have money as an aspect, but you also have to grow through it. The role of individuals, the individuals that are with you, implement your values. Once you take the decision to make change, you've already gone halfway. Focus on your employees. Now you'll see that I have a couple of pictures here. You didn't get that done. And this famous, please. I know that this is actually for the men sitting in the room, because it usually is a very easy thing to leave the toilet seat down. I suggest that you put the whole thing down and close the toilet, because it conserves toilet energy. And it belongs to personal habits and interpersonal skills. When you make your coffee in the kitchen and you're using a communal kitchen at work, please wash your cup, and it takes 2 minutes. Don't leave the kitchen in a mess. Don't leave the bathroom in a mess. Find that you become conscious in everything that you do. There's an upward and downward communication in all spheres of business. You have the upper and the lower, so you need to communicate. Well-developed programs, talk to. If you're a manager, please think about what you are giving your employees. They need personal development. They need professional development. You might